So it has been 12 long years since we've heard any new music from Porcupine Tree, and here we go. Dropped on Friday, their 11th album. Is it any good? Well, we're going to talk about it. The great Steven Wilson obviously needs no introduction in prog circles. The man was born in 1967, started Porcupine Tree when he was 20 years old, but he's known for more than just that. His solo career, No Man with Tim Bonus, and Storm Corrosion with Michael from Opeth, Blackfield, Bass Communion. The guy's just amazingly prolific. And on top of that, he's been doing all these remastering from the likes of Jethro Tull, Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Yes, King Crimson, Gentle Giant. It's just ridiculous, all the work he's done. And most of his remixes are really, really great. But the Porcupine Tree project is where he made his name, he cut his bones, and, it started out as a psychedelic project. First couple albums were just him. And he then at some point hired a couple people to join the band, Richard Barbieri, Chris Maitland, and Colin Edwin. Well, Colin Edwin is not here, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. They got signed to a major label for Stupid Dream, and then Lightbulb Sun came out, and they were pretty much unstoppable at this point. But it was in 2002 when Gavin Harrison joined the band that they really took off with In Absentia, and then the next few albums were just amazing. Dead Wing, Fear of a Blank Planet. The Incident I wasn't quite as crazy about, so that leads us to Closure, Continuation. And what's with the name of that album? Does it imply that this is a last hurrah for the band? Or does the second part of the name imply that, things are going to keep going? Some people have claimed this is just a pure money grab, a new album and a tour, but I completely disagree. I really like the new album, so let's talk a little bit about it. It starts out with that funky bass, which is really interesting because the talking points for this album leading onto its release was, where's Colin Edwin? Porcupine Tree started with just Steven Wilson playing everything, so it kind of made sense that he's back on the bass guitar here. He claims Colin had absolutely no interest in continuing. He never called and checked in and tried to, see what was going on. So he felt that he was just kind of done with it, whereas Richard and Gavin apparently continued talking to him and wanting to, do stuff. And the genesis of this album apparently was Steven and Gavin getting together. They wanted to jam. There were no guitars at Gavin's house, so Steven picks up a bass guitar, and the first thing they're working on is the first track, Harridan. That was the first single. It starts out with that funky bass. It's a great, great opening track. And then it's got those really gorgeous slow sections. Oh, killer lead off track. If ever there was one, really gets the blood pumping. I like it a lot. The next song was also a single, Of the New Day. I really like this song. This one might be one of my favorites off the new album. It's just got gorgeous melodies. It's got that weird time signature. And it's like, is this messing up the gorgeous melody or is it enhancing it? By like the third or fourth listen, I've decided it's just incredible, and I love it. Rat's Return is the third track. Again, this was released as a single, so we knew this song already. It's more of an aggressive song. It's a little heavier. At times, it kind of makes me think of Haken's The Cockroach King with some of the stuff Richard's doing on the keyboards, but it's really great. I like it a lot. The first new song we encounter is Dignity, and this thing is amazing. It's kind of laid out like a Pink Floyd kind of track. It starts out with these power pop arpeggios, and then it goes into this acoustic guitar, and this is where, with the headphones on, you realize, man, Steven Wilson knows how to produce a record. This thing sounds amazing. It's so good. And then at the 4-minute mark, there's this really cool bass melody that kicks in, and then you get a clean guitar solo from Steven Wilson, which makes me think back to some of his comments earlier about how maybe part of the reason he put Porcupine Tree on hiatus was he wasn't feeling like Gavin, Edwin, and Richard respected him enough as a musician. I think he went solo to prove all his naysayers wrong, that he didn't need these guys to be great, and his solo career certainly bears that out, and then that cool arpeggio comes back at the end, and they build on it. It's just great. And then you get into these weird time signature things. It's total polyrhythmic chaos. It's just amazing. Gavin Harrison is a monster. Herd Culling is next. Again, we've heard this song. Starts out with a cool 11/8 rhythm, but the words are really cool in the verses. It starts out, someone go fetch the rifle now. I think there's something in the yard. I can see the herd is getting rattled and the dogs are on their guard. That's good stuff. And then, yeah, yeah, yeah. I really like the vocal hook there. It's a great track. We knew 4 out of the 5 first songs. We'd already heard them before. So the last 2 tracks become really critical, I think, in really analyzing my feelings on this. And Walk the Plank is the 6th track. It's a very atmospheric song, kind of making me think of Radiohead. Richard Barbieri's keyboards play a real prominent role here. I've heard a lot of the songwriting was collaborative here, so I'm guessing he had a lot of input on this song. But that leads us to the final track of the album proper, and the one everybody's talking about, Camaros Wreck. This song is just incredible. Starts out with the clean arpeggios, and then it's real soft and soothing, but the main vocal hook is just so powerful. I'm afraid to be happy and I couldn't care less if I have to die. It is so great. I just really dig that. And then the song goes into a lot of different things towards the end. Very progressive. Longest song on the album, 9.5 minutes. It's the song everybody's going to want to hear live, I am quite certain. One of the best songs they've ever written. Then you get to the 3 bonus tracks. Starts out with the instrumental called Population 3. Obviously, that's referring to the fact that they're down to a 3-piece. It kind of makes me think a little bit of King Crimson. It's actually really cool. Maybe a little bit of Rush. I like it a lot. Next up is Never Have, which to me sounds like a hit single. But I do understand why these 3 tracks were not on the album proper. They maybe don't fit the flow quite as good. And the album itself ends with Love in the Past Tense, which starts out kind of like Love on a Farm Boy's Wages by XTC, but it morphs into a few different things, and it's got some cool atmosphere. Provided by Richard Barbieri. It's a good record. How do we like it? How does it fare? How does it sit in to the rest of Porcupine Tree's illustrious discography? Well, I've always felt that trilogy of In Absentia, Dead Wing, and Fear of a Blank Planet was pretty much unassailable, and I still feel that way. But I do feel this might be their 4th best album. Signify maybe has a little something to say about that, but so yeah, where does it fit? Where do I score this thing? I'm giving it 4 headphones. I really do like it. I've listened to it like 10 or 12 times now, and it sits very comfortably in the second half of their discography. Do I hear a lot of Steven Wilson solo stuff in here? Yeah, I kind of do. But luckily, I'm hearing more of The Raven and Hand Cannot Erase rather than To the Bone and The Future Bites. But you do hear those poppy elements in the new album. It would be foolish to think that his solo career, which is now, in its 13th year, wouldn't influence these songs at all. They certainly do. But, if you want to look at this as a Steven Wilson solo album with Gavin Harrison, Richard Barbieri on board, you can do that. You're wrong, but, it's not a bad way to look at it at all. This is not a money grab. This was absolutely a great record. Yeah, it doesn't break any new ground. That is what In Absentia was really all about. This is not breaking any new territory at all, but what this does do is it reestablishes Porcupine Tree as one of the most important prog rock bands in the history of prog. They should be very proud of this record, and if they were coming to Ohio, I know I'd certainly go see them. So yeah, 4 headphone rating sounds about right. And anyway, I just wanted to talk about the new Porcupine Tree album because I'm listening to it pretty much exclusively here, and wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. Anyway, I'm Scott from the Prog Corner, and I will see you guys on the flip flop. Peace and love.